What's up, guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here, and welcome back to my weekly Q&A sessions where you guys ask the questions and I give you the answers. I do apologize. We are keeping it a bit short this week, but for those of you who do want to submit a question for the Q&A, it's pretty simple. You can ask it in the comment section below. You can hit me up on Twitter, or if you're a patron donor, you can ask it in the Discord. I pick a few questions every week. The star question is the title of the video, and I usually insert an ad break where that starts so that if you want to jump right to it, you can. It's usually the last question of the week. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Our first question of the week comes from Paneet Kumar. And Paneet asks, Q&A Tyrant, despite having a terrible campaign in Halo 5, what is your favorite mission? Mine is the breaking, because it is the only mission where blue team keeps their mouth shut and don't spit unnecessary things. And also because of the Halo theme in it. I needed that. That was good, my friend. That actually surprises me. Most people, when they think of the breaking, think of a robot version of the library, just not as fun. I actually enjoyed the mission myself. My favorite one has got to be Battle of Sinayan, though. Despite the fact that it's constantly giving me a hard time when I'm trying to beat it on Mythic or Lazo, it has a very explosive opening to it. You know, not just the cutscene that's great, but you start off with the Swords of St. Helios and the Arbiter. And you're going through this big Covenant city, which I've always wanted to do since it was teased in High Charity in Halo 2, which I think is awesome. And as you're going through, you know, you go to the Undercity, you're taking out the anti-air guns, and you get to the Undercity, and then when you go back up, the music starts ramping up. It starts playing Sentinel Song, and then it plays Osiris Suite 4, and then as you're getting to the end of the mission where the city's starting to collapse and everything, it starts playing, I think it's called World Quake, I think so, something like that. And that's when the Prometheans show up, and then eventually the Warden Eternal. So it's a very cinematic mission, but it's also a nice sized one where you're fighting mostly Covenant. So definitely Battle of Sinayan. But you guys let me know in the comments below what mission you do like in Halo 5, even if you're not a fan of the game overall. Our next question comes from Creator30, and Creator asks, Q&A Tyrant, how much of an impact do you think Halo Infinite will have on Microsoft 343 Industries and the Xbox brand and the video game industry moving forward? Really, it depends on just how well they do. We don't have a lot of information to go on right now aside from the trailer. Obviously, there's been speculation on when it might be released, maybe 2019, maybe 2020, but no one's really sure. And as we know from not just Halo, but other games in general, the initial teaser trailer isn't always a great indicator of what the final product is going to look like. Having said that, if the game is going to be at least somewhat what people are making it out to be and what they believe it'll be, and even what I've pitched on this site, I think that there's a real chance for Halo Infinite to do really well and to sort of revitalize the Halo franchise. What I've noticed personally is that 343 gradually seems to be improving on their work. I consider Halo 5 to have made significant improvements to the formula over Halo 4, and a lot of people have praised Halo Wars 2 over the art style, and it looks like classic art's coming back, so they do seem to be listening to their fans, and they do seem to be making improvements. So I have high hopes for Halo Infinite. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a complete game changer for the industry, but with the new engine, it's hard to say. So my hopes are high, and I'm rooting for them, and I sincerely hope that Halo Infinite's the best Halo game ever. Our next question comes from Hollis Kadirli III, and Hollis asks, Halo Q&A, I don't know if you can answer this, but here goes. When a game like Halo lasts for a long time, and veteran voice actors like Steve Downes, happy birthday with Steve, by the way, which was last week, and Jen Taylor are called back to do their jobs, how much say do they have in how the story goes? Can Steve say, no, Master Chief doesn't act like this, you need to, or not? So how much star power they have, I'm not really sure. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously they're very important to the franchise, and I'm sure to a degree if they have suggestions they can make them. Having met Jen Taylor before, and not just met, but briefly worked with Steve Downes, I've had the honor of working with Steve Downes, I'll say that even if they had that ability, they don't come off as people who would honestly try to push their own agenda in those situations. You know, when you're talking about a voice actor, and you're talking about the characters they play, you have to keep in mind that the character is someone else's creation. Even if the voice that Steve and Jen play, the voices I should say, that they play are the embodiment of that character and what people come to know and love and recognize, at the same time, it's still someone else's work. And so I would say in that regard, if they really took a stand on a certain issue, maybe 343 and Microsoft would kind of weigh in on it, but they honestly, knowing them and knowing how wonderful they are, it doesn't seem like something they would do. I think, you know, if it's in the script, that they'll say it, and they'll say it the way Microsoft wants them to. And you know, I hope that I continue to hear Steve Downes' voice for many games to come. Our next question comes from Adair West, and Adair West asks, Q&A Tyrant, what movie do you like that most people don't? Oh, this is a tough one. Because I do like a lot of popular stuff out there. I'd say probably the movie I like the most, that I hear gets the most flack, is probably The Lost World Jurassic Park. A lot of people didn't like it as a follow-up to Jurassic Park, especially with the third act. Personally, to me, I love The Lost World, and I think that The Lost World is the only follow-up movie that a movie like Jurassic Park could have. Because when you think about it, Jurassic Park was essentially a park gone wrong, where the dinosaurs broke free. The Lost World sort of reverses that scenario, where they're going to an island where the dinosaurs are already roaming free and they have their own ecosystem and habitats and territories. And so what they did there was they made sure there was more dinosaurs, they made sure there was more military personnel to counter the dinosaurs, they made sure there was more species of dinosaurs. There's even 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes in the Lost World Jurassic Park. There's tons of velociraptors. And I think the sequence at the end, despite it seemingly being out of left field at the time, I think it was important to put in there, because I think a lot of people who had seen Jurassic Park and had gotten that far in the Lost World were kind of curious to see what would happen if one of the most fearsome dinosaurs in the film actually made it to a populated area. So I still think to this day that the trilogy should have been Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and Jurassic World, and they should have stopped there. Most people agree that Jurassic Park 3 was a complete disaster, and I'm with them on that one. So I would say The Lost World to this day remains to be the one movie that I hear a lot of people give a lot of crap to, that I still personally really enjoy. But that's a great question, and you guys let me know in the comments below what your favorite movies are. Our next question comes from Divine Hero, and Divine Hero asks, Q&A Tyrant, if 343 Industries makes games based off of Master Chief's earlier years, do you think they will do a stamina-like health system like in Halo 3 ODST, since the Spartan armor didn't have shields until a year before the attack on Reach? That's hard to say. Like, I don't know a lot about the Halo lore aside from the Fall of Reach and Spartan Strike and Ghost of Onyx. So beyond that, I'm not really sure what the history is. I think Kid Xperia might be a better person, like, to have that, or probably has more knowledge in that area than I do. I will say that probably not. Like, it's not impossible, but I think people have gotten so used to the shield system that they would find a way to incorporate it. Like, maybe it was a secret Oni project or something like that. I would love to see games that take place before the Fall of Reach. I'd love to see more Master Chief themed games that took place in the heat of the Covenant War. And so I think if they needed to pull it off, they'd still have to pull off the system in a way that still stays true to the mainstream Halo game. So I think even if lore-wise currently it doesn't work, I think they would find a way to fit it in. But that's a great question, and I appreciate it, my friend. Our next question comes from Prophet Arbiter, and Prophet Arbiter asks, Q&A Tyrant, Tyrant of Halo MCC, if... Sorry, let me ask that again. If Halo MCC ever comes to PC, do you think it's possible that big mods like SPV3 could possibly give Halo 2 Vista and Halo Anniversary better graphics? Maybe it's possible. I will say that in terms of mods in general, I'm sure there'll be people out there who would take Master Chief Collection on PC, if it ever comes out on PC, and do a lot of creative things with it. I will say that, you know, since I know the guy personally who headed the SPV3 project, he has no desire to work on Halo 2 at all. So it's certainly not going to happen with the CMT community, but you never know. Someone out there might, you know, be so into Halo 2 that they just want to make it even better and maybe even make it more like the way it was supposed to be before they completely scrapped the original concept and then came out with the Halo 2 that we know of today. It's possible. I just don't know who would be the one to put that together, but it's still a great question, my friend. And our final question of the week, our star question, comes from H2K Wolf. And H2K Wolf asks, Q&A Tyrant, is Halo Infinite going to be like Destiny, but way more better? You know, this is, first of all, I want to again reiterate what I said at the beginning of this Q&A, that what we know in terms of concrete information about Halo Infinite at the moment is very little. So everything I say here needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Everything that any content creator says needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because we really don't know what direction they're going with Halo Infinite. They might have an idea in mind and then completely change it up later. We don't know. I think that they're on the right path here, but we'll see. In terms of Destiny, so I've listened to other content creators out there regarding Destiny, and one thing that I've said on this site before is what I would love to see from the next major Halo title is sort of a butterfly effect campaign, where you can complete a mission and then you sort of have a choice where you want to go next. Kind of like Star Fox 64 is the best game I can think of that does something like that. That way the campaign has a lot more replay value. There's a lot of different storylines that you can have in the campaign, and so even if you have a storyline that maybe you don't like as much, like say Halo 5 story, there's an alternate storyline there that you can take that you might prefer. Now, in terms of how that would tie into Destiny, there's still things about Destiny, whether or not you like the game, there's still features that it has that are becoming more popular in the mainstream market. One of them is what I typically refer to as the phase campaign. And phase campaign essentially means that it's semi-open world, not open world like World of Warcraft, but semi-open world. And so when you're coming across, say, a certain mission, like let's just say you, instead of having, you're starting one mission and finish another, and then it just picks up like the typical Halo campaign. Essentially, it's semi-open world, and then you go to a location to start a mission. Sort of like Halo 3 ODST, kind of. That's the best thing I could think of in the current Halo universe that utilizes that kind of tactic. And so maybe if you accept the mission, if someone else is nearby who's also accepting that mission, maybe they have the option of helping you or the option of doing things on their own. Essentially, their world crosses over with yours. I've seen a couple of different games do that. World of Warcraft has done that to a point outside of just the regular open world that they have, and I've also seen Knights of the Old Republic do something similar. Destiny has done that to a point as well. I don't know how that would work with Halo. It certainly could. I mean, if Zeta Halo is semi-open world, then it's entirely possible to have that kind of scenario. It'd be interesting to see how fans would react to that. My thing about that type of game, though, is that I want to have the option to turn it off, especially if I'm working on any sort of walkthrough or playthrough. I wouldn't want that interference. I already took notifications off of my Xbox, so it's very rare that I know who's online and when and whatnot, just simply because when I'm playing, I'm usually recording, I'm working. So I would want an option to be able to turn off any intrusion from anyone else who might potentially want to jump in, even if you don't want them to. So I see that as being a possibility as it increases in popularity. In terms of other things that Destiny has, again, there's the semi-open world feature, but I think that Halo could do better than that. The thing of it is, when it comes to Destiny, I have tried to get into that game because it's a Bungie game, and I still love Bungie despite some of the decisions they've made with Activision, but I just can't get into it. I can usually play it for a little while, and then I get bored. You know, it just gets overly repetitive. Sometimes the goals or the challenges aren't really clear to what I'm supposed to be doing. They're not really that straightforward. And it's fine to leave things open to interpretation to a point, but I like to have a clear objective as well. And a lot of times Destiny, I feel like that gets missed, that I don't really know the clear path to get to the next mission or to complete the current one that I'm on, and I don't want to see Halo go that route. The only two things that I can think of that they might borrow from Destiny is being able to travel back and forth to different areas, instead of across the solar system, maybe across the Halo ring. And if they do that, I can see possible phase campaigning come into play. Again, I've seen a lot of games do that before, or having a situation where maybe you're in a campaign mission and someone joins mid-mission or something like that. Even going back as far as Fable, that was a thing. So, you know, I see that being a very real possibility. I don't know if they're actually going to do that or not. What I'm curious to know from you guys is what you think about that. Are there elements from Destiny that you would like to see integrated into Halo Infinite or future Halo titles for that matter? And if they are, let me know what they are. If not, let me know that too. And I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. and your expectations of Halo Infinite in the comment section below, or please feel free to hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below, and I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy day to sit down and watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you consider subscribing for more great content right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you all right back here next time, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.